Welcome back to our Future AI podcast, Paper Review. Today, we're doing a deep dive into how AI impacts something we all value, critical thinking.
Oh yeah, definitely something to think about.
Buckle up, because this paper unpacks what's really happening when knowledge workers use AI.
Yeah.
And it's more nuanced than you might think.
Definitely more nuance.
It really makes you question how we define thinking in an age of AI.
It really does.
This paper digs into whether using AI for certain tasks actually changes the mental effort involved.
Yeah, that's a really great point.
And the source for today's deep dive, a brand new research study hot off the presses from CHI 25, that's the biggest human-computer interaction conference out there.
Huge. Yeah.
They surveyed over 300 people across diverse jobs. So this isn't just about techies.
No, it's very broad.
Exactly.
We weren't just interested in if people use critical thinking with AI, but how that thinking changes depending on the task.
Yeah.
They asked people to rate how much effort they put into various thinking skills when using AI versus doing it the old-fashioned way.
Okay, so before we get lost in the data, let's set the stage.
Yeah, let's...
How did the researchers even define critical thinking?
Right.
I mean, it's not like there's a ruler for that.
Right. So they turned to a classic framework called Bloom's taxonomy.
Oh, yeah, Bloom's taxonomy. I vaguely remember that from some long ago psychology class.
Well, we'll get ready for a refresher course because it's key to understanding this study.
Okay.
At the bottom of the pyramid, you have basic skills like remembering facts.
Mm-hmm.
Then, as you move up, things get more complex.
Okay.
Understanding those facts, applying them to solve problems, analyzing how things work,
Right.
creating something new,
Sure.
it all builds to the top level, which is evaluating and judging information.
Okay, I'm starting to see how this connects to AI.
Yeah.
So depending on what you're using AI for, you might be engaging different levels of this thinking pyramid.
Precisely. And that's where the study's findings get really interesting.
Okay.
They found that for almost all those thinking skills, people felt like AI made things easier. Okay.
But here's the catch. It wasn't always because the AI was doing the thinking for them.
Hold on. I'm sensing a plot twist here.
Uh-huh.
So AI makes thinking easier.
Yeah.
But it's not just a case of us becoming brainless couch potatoes while the machines do all the work.
Not quite. It's more nuanced than that.
Okay.
Think of it this way.
Okay.
Imagine you're writing a research paper. Traditionally, you'd spend hours in the library digging through books and journals.
Right.
But with AI, you can pull up a ton of relevant information in seconds.
Right. So the initial effort of gathering information is drastically reduced.
Exactly.
But then what?
That's where the shift happens.
Okay.
Instead of spending all our energy on finding information, we're now focusing on verifying it.
Okay.
Is this AI-generated summary accurate? Are these sources credible? Do these facts actually support my argument? That's where the critical thinking comes in.
Interesting. So it's not that we're thinking less.
Right.
It's that the focus of our thinking is changing. Exactly. The researchers call this a shift from task execution to task stewardship.
Oh, cool.
We're becoming more like managers of the AI.
Interesting.
Overseeing its work and making sure it aligns with our goals.
Okay. I'm starting to get the big picture here.
Yeah.
But I'm a big believer in concrete examples.
Uh-huh.
Did the study provide any real-world scenarios that illustrate this shift in thinking?
Oh, absolutely. And this is where it gets really fascinating.
Okay.
They collected hundreds of examples from people across all sorts of professions. Teachers, marketers, coders, you name it.
Okay.
Let's say you're a teacher using AI to create images for a presentation about hand washing.
Okay. I can see how AI could be helpful there.
Yeah.
No more spending hours searching for the perfect stock photo.
Right. But here's where the critical thinking kicks in.
Okay.
What if the AI generates an image of a sink with no soap dispensers?
Oh.
You, as the expert, need to recognize that this is misleading and modify the AI's output.
Ah, I see. So it's not enough to just blindly accept what the AI gives you.
Right.
You need to be actively evaluating its work and making sure it meets your standards.
Exactly. And that kind of critical engagement was happening across all sorts of tasks.
Yep.
From writing marketing copy to debugging code.
This is already making me rethink how I use AI in my own work.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about one thing.
Okay.
The study mentioned that people's confidence played a role in how they approached critical thinking with AI.
Yeah.
How did that work?
That's a great question, and it leads to one of the most intriguing findings of the study. They found that people who were more confident in their own abilities were actually more likely to use critical thinking when working with AI. It's like they were saying, okay, AI, show me what you got, but I'm the expert here, so I'm going to be judging your work carefully.
That makes sense to me. If you really know your stuff, you're not going to be easily fooled by a fancy algorithm.
But what about the flip side?
Yeah.
What if someone puts all their faith in the AI? Well, that's where things get a little concerning. The study found that the more confident someone was in the AI's abilities, the less likely they were to engage in critical thinking. It's almost like they were saying, oh, the AI is so smart, it must be right, and then just switched off their own brains.
Wow, that's a bit of a wake-up call. It suggests that AI could make us intellectually lazy if we're not careful. Did the researchers find any examples of this happening in the real world?
Plenty. One participant, a lawyer, talked about using AI to research case law. He said it was crucial to double-check everything the AI produced because it sometimes makes up information to support whatever argument you're trying to make.
Okay, that's a little scary. It highlights the need for skepticism.
Right.
Just because the AI presents something confidently doesn't mean it's true. But how can we encourage people to be more discerning when using AI? How do we design these tools to nudge us towards critical thinking instead of complacency?
The researchers had some really interesting suggestions based on their findings. One key principle is to enhance awareness. They proposed that AI tools could proactively nudge users to think critically at key moments in the workflow. For example, imagine you're using AI to write a report and it suggests a particularly bold claim.
Okay, I'm following you.
The tool could pop up a little prompt asking, "Are you sure this claim is supported by the evidence? Let's check some sources." It's like having a little AI devil's advocate on your shoulder reminding you to pause and question your assumptions.
I love that. It's not about preventing people from using AI. It's about making them more aware of its limitations and encouraging them to engage their own critical thinking skills.
Yeah.
Did they have any other suggestions for boosting awareness?
Yes. They also talked about incorporating feedback mechanisms that help users gauge the reliability of AI outputs. For instance, the AI could highlight areas where its confidence is low or where its suggestions might be biased.
That's so important. It's about helping people understand that AI isn't infallible. It makes mistakes, it has biases, and sometimes it's just plain wrong. But what about the people who might not even realize they should be applying critical thinking in certain situations?
That's a crucial point, and it brings us to another one of their design suggestions. The researchers argue that we need to reframe critical thinking as an opportunity for growth and skill development. Instead of presenting it as a chore, we can highlight how it helps people become more insightful, discerning, and adaptable in their work.
I like that. It's not just about catching AI's errors. It's about using AI as a tool to sharpen our own thinking skills.
Yeah,
Did the researchers provide any specific examples of how this could work in practice?
they did. They suggested that AI tools could be designed to directly support the development of critical thinking skills. For example, the AI could provide interactive tutorials on specific critical thinking techniques, like evaluating sources or constructing a logical argument. It's like having a built-in critical thinking coach guiding you through the process and helping you refine your skills.
That's amazing. So AI could actually help us become better critical thinkers. It sounds almost paradoxical.
It does, doesn't it? But that's the exciting part. We're not just talking about using AI to automate tasks or replace human intelligence. We're talking about using AI to enhance our thinking, to make us more aware, more discerning, and more capable of navigating the complexities of an increasingly AI-driven world.
This is all incredibly insightful. I'm already thinking about the AI tools I use every day and how I can approach them with a more critical eye. Now thinking more carefully about how they're influencing my thinking process.
Me too. It's time to move beyond the hype and start having more nuanced and critical conversations about the relationship between AI and human intelligence.
Absolutely. And this becomes even more important as we move up to the highest levels of Bloom's taxonomy analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. Remember that idea of task stewardship we discussed earlier?
Yeah, it's like we're becoming the project manager for the AI, overseeing its work, making sure it aligns with our goals, and ultimately taking responsibility for the results. Precisely, and that requires a whole new set of skills we need to be able to clearly communicate our goals to the AI, monitor its progress, evaluate its output, and make adjustments along the way.
It's a much more strategic and collaborative way of working, and it highlights the importance of having clear values and standards because ultimately we're the ones accountable for how AI is used and the impact it has on the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. This study really challenges us to think differently about the role of AI in our lives. It's not just about efficiency or automation. It's about using AI to enhance our own thinking abilities, to become more discerning, more insightful, and more capable of tackling complex problems.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive. I'm definitely going to look at the AI tools I use every day with a more critical eye now, thinking more carefully about how they're influencing my thinking process.
Me too. It's time to move beyond the hype and start having more nuanced and critical conversations about the relationship between AI and human intelligence.
Absolutely. We look forward to seeing you at the next future AI paper review.